Hello students, in this particular video we'll be studying about investment part of fourth unit. This is the third part of your fourth unit. So previously we have studied consumption function in first part, saving function in second part. Now in this third part we'll study investment, right? So I hope you have all have studied the previous videos. We have watched it carefully because unless and until you watch the previous videos, you will not understand the current video that I am teaching you. So now I'll be sharing my screen with you so that you have a better understanding. Okay. Okay. So welcome to the lectures of Pradivai Patil College of Computer and Business Studies, right? So this is your unit 4 part 3 wherein we'll study about investment part, right? So first is we'll understand different concepts as net investment, gross investment, autonomous investment, induced investment. We'll study different types of investment. The very first one is net investment. So net investment is the total amount of money that a company spends on capital assets minus the cost of the depreciation of those assets. Okay, so net investment indicates how much a company is spending to maintain and improve its operations. You understand? So if net investment is positive, the company is expanding its capacity in the another sense. So if net investment is negative, its capacity is shrinking. You got my point? So right, the next one is gross investment in your concept. So the amount of money invested in business assets that does not account for any depreciation. So the gross figure more accurately reflects the company's actual financial commitment to an asset from which it can derive a return on investment. So gross investment refers to the amount invested in purchase or construction of a new capital goods. So now the capital assets lose value over time due to wear and tear and obsolescence. We all know that, like fixed assets. So therefore, subtracting depreciation from gross capital expenditure, it is called CAPEX, CAPEX, provides a more accurate picture of their actual value. As in final accounts, we deduct depreciation from the fixed assets. We all have studied final accounts, right? So capital assets includes all property and equipment that contribute to the productive capacity of the business. So the total for capital asset also includes the cost of their upkeep, maintenance, repair, and installation, right? So if gross if gross investment is consistently higher than depreciation, then the net investment figure will be positive. How? Indicating that the company's productive capacity is increasing. Whereas if the gross investment is consistently lower than depreciation, net investment will be negative. See the relationship. Okay, understand the relationship. So indicating that productive capacity is decreasing. So this can be a problem down the road for the company. So this is true for all the companies, all the entities, from the smallest companies to the largest national economies. This fact is true, right? So net investment is therefore a better indicator than gross investment, like on how much like an enterprise is investing in its business, since it takes depreciation into account. Understood the concept of gross and net? Okay, so the next concept is autonomous investment. Now, investment may be autonomous and induced. So usually investment decisions is governed by output and or the rate of interest. So if investment does not depend either on income output or the rate of interest, then such investment is called autonomous investment. Thus autonomous investment is independent of the level of income. To be more precise, an autonomous investment is when a government or other body makes an investment in a project or to a foreign country without regard to the level of economic growth or the prospects for that investment generating positive returns. Like in other words, the investment is made whether or not economic conditions change, or if the project is likely to succeed. You're getting my point? So these investments are made primarily for purpose of geopolitical stability, economic aid, and infrastructure projects, like it can be national or individual security, or for any humanitarian goals. So these are autonomous investments. So autonomous investments is a portion of total investment made by a government or any other institution that is done independent of any economic constraints. So this can include what, like government investments, funds allocated to public goods or infrastructure, and any other type of investment that is not dependent on changes in GDP. These are autonomous types. So in contrast to induced, that we'll study in the next slide, which seeks to take advantage of economic opportunities. Autonomous investment is made for necessities or purposes of stability or security. So this is the basic difference between induced and autonomous investment. Now, autonomous investments are those that are made like because they are deemed as basic necessities to individual, to organization, or national well-being, health and safety. So these are made even when level of disposable incomes for investment are zero or close to zero. Like autonomous investments include inventory replenishment, government investments in infrastructure projects such as roads and highways, and other investments that maintain or enhance a country's economic potential, right? To give an examples. So they do not increase in response to increased growth of GDP, that is gross domestic product, or shrink in response to economic contractions, like indicating that they are not motivated by profits, but rather by the goal of improving societal welfare, right? Look at the figure, this one. It is evident from this figure that whatever the level of income, the level of autonomous investment has been fixed at OA. Can you see? So to describe this type of investment, we have to put a bar sign over the head of the curve I. Thus, autonomous investment as per figure is income neutral. Whether income is Y0 or Y1, your investment is fixed to OA, whatever will the level of income. You're getting my point? So when you're given a short note on autonomous investment, it's important to draw this figure and explain this figure, right? So the next one in today's video is induced investment. We have studied something about that in the autonomous as well when I was telling you the comparison between the two. So let's understand in detail what is induced investment, right? Now these four concepts are very important from your short notes point of view, right? So investment that is dependent on the level of income or on the rate of interest is called induced income. Exactly opposite to autonomous. So investment that would respond to a change in national income or in the rate of interest is called induced investment. So let's see the figure here shows that as national income rises from OY0 to OY1, right? That is induced investment increases from OI0 to OI1. You getting my point? See on the axis that when income rises from OY0 to OY1, the induced investment also rises from OI0 to OI1. Just observe what I am telling you. So the arrow indicates it means income and investment are rising. So this investment has that is income elastic is called induced investment. That is, if your national income is rising, induced investment rises, and if national income is reducing, your induced income reduces. You understand? So it is elastic, income elastic. We have studied the concept of elasticity of demand, income elasticity. Just follow that over here, because macro concepts are very important when you study macro. That's why you study micro first and then apply those concepts on a macro level. You understand? You understood this figure? Now, autonomous investment contrasts to induced investment, which increase or decrease in response to the level of economic growth. Induced investments aims to generate a profit. but autonomous investment is of a societal welfare. So since they respond to shifts in output, they tend to be more variable than autonomous investment. I mean to say induced. So the latter act as an important stabilizing force, helping to reduce volatility in induced investment. So this is the difference between autonomous and investment, to be precise. So in this particular video, we have studied 4 important concepts which are very important from your short notes point of view in the examination, that is net investment, gross investment, autonomous investment, and induced investment. Okay, so study these thoroughly. In the next video, it will be the last video of your syllabus, because it will be the last point I'll cover of your 4th unit. It is marginal efficiency of capital. So that I'll cover in the next video, and there your portion will end. By the end of all the videos, I'll share you the complete my whatever videos I have made, the links of all the videos together, uh, right? And you can study the videos one by one accordingly, right, as per the time you have with you. So see you all in the next meeting, next video. Thank you.